Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, aka Man of the People, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. And as always, I love working for you guys. Got a great show lined up for you tonight with special guests. Got a lot to talk about with this Carolina Panther matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. It was a great game that I had the honor of being there in person to see. So, you know the format. We're going to have a guest come on, load us up with questions. All right, hit that comment box, type what you want, and then at some point in the session in the video, we'll have a chance for you guys to come on and ask your questions. But let me go ahead and bring on the man, the co-host. Here we go.
What is going on, everybody?
So you're on.
Yeah, I was about to say a little delayed response there, but what's up, everybody? Good to be here with all of you here today. Chris, I know you're doing well, and I know you're excited for our guest that's going to be on here shortly.
Yeah, man, I got all the controls going. Hopefully, you guys are seeing us nice and clear in 4K, and everything is going well. How you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling the butterflies. I mean, this is definitely, I know for you as well, having Steve Smith on is definitely a big deal. But I'm excited, cautiously optimistic about how things will go here today. But nevertheless, this is a great opportunity to talk about what happened yesterday and to be able to talk about it with all of you who are in the comments right now, leaving all your comments and, of course, hitting the like button on our video and subscribing to the Charlotte Vibe as well. So I can't wait to be able to spend this next hour with you today.
You guys are saying that I'm low, so let me go ahead and turn myself up here. Let's see.
Yeah, that's what they're saying in the comments right now. Okay. As he deals with his mic here, just for everybody who's tuning in, like I said, and like Chris said, Steve Smith will be on here in just a short while. But continue to leave your comments in the comments section. We'll definitely be getting to those here in just a little bit. And I think Chris is about ready here in the next short while. But again, keep leaving your comments down below. We're definitely going to be getting to those here in the next short while. Are you ready?
Are you guys? Let's see. Hello, hello, hello. I do feel like my mic is low,
Yeah.
but I don't know why. Let's see. How about that? Is the mic
Oh,
better? Better,
that's a
better,
little
better.
loud.
How
That's a
about
little
now?
loud.
How about now?
All right, we're getting there.
How
We're getting
about
there.
now? All right, I can see my levels. I think I'm good
Yeah,
on the
that's
levels
good.
now. I'm good. That's good.
I can hear you crystal now.
Crystal.
Crystal clear on
Uh,
my end.
all
I
right.
don't know
Can
about everybody else.
can everybody else hear me crystal clearly?
They're
I know. So,
saying you sound better.
I know it's a little bit of a delay. Hey, so
Yeah.
just so you guys know, when Steve Smith comes on here, everything's going to be about the Carolina Panthers. We're not going to get into Steve Smith and his football career kind of type questions. We're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons going against the Carolina Panthers yesterday and the matchup that was. And we might even talk about who knows what. We'll talk about quite a few things.
Who knows what will get brought up here over the next short little while.
I'm trying to
But
get
we'll
all
see where things go.
trying to get all my notes together.
Yeah.
But until he comes on, let's go ahead and look at some of these comments and give some shout outs as we wait for the magical moment to occur. Going through these
See,
comments here.
seeing a lot of excitement, I must say.
Hey, we should be excited. Locksman can't watch, but I'm in early. Appreciate you, Locksman. Where you been, man? You've been missing. You've been missing, but good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as always.
KPM, Agent 89. Yes, he will be joining us very shortly tonight on our show. So appreciate everybody that's tuning in to watch him. KPM, though. KPM.
Yeah.
I got to ask you this. I got to help you out here. Chris is the way that you spell the name. All right. Chris.
Wait, how he spell it? K-R-I-S? Oh
He
man,
spelled it Kris. It's Chris.
that's one way to spell it right there.
What his favorite touchdown catch was as a Panther? I appreciate it, KPM. But again, tonight it will not be so much about Steve and his career. It's going to be about Steve and his thoughts on this Carolina Panthers team, especially after that game that we had yesterday. That was exciting.
It definitely
And
was.
I'm just going through some more of these comments here. Tim SG said the volume's low, but I got that fixed. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody telling me that they couldn't hear me because you are our extension. So let me go ahead and say this. Let me get this comment off of here really quickly. So I hadn't got to this yet, but I'm going to go ahead and ask for it. Hit the like button, okay? Very important for us to keep growing. If you guys hit that like button, it helps others find out about us. And if you're watching, we're trying to get to 6,000 subscribers. Tonight, shortly here, we're going to have on Steve Smith. It helps us to continue to have more players on the show. The bigger we grow, everybody likes an audience. Everybody likes being able to talk to a lot of people and feel the excitement of it. So if you don't mind doing Andre and I that great favor, take a moment, smash it, tap it, touch it, elbow it, fist bump it, but hit that subscribe button and please help us get to 6,000 subscribers so we can continue to do what we all love to do and have you guys on the show or have guests on the show and have conversation with you guys. Let me just check, make sure I don't have any messages here that I'm missing. And I do not have any messages yet. So let's, again, continue to go through some of these comments that we have here. And again, this show is all about you guys, all right? So we're going to have Steve on. Somebody's joining, which I don't think is Steve, but let me see who this is. And we'll go from there.
Who could it possibly be?
Let's see. I don't see any video. Oh, all right. I see who it is. So unfortunately, I'm going to kick you off for a second because we do have a link in the description for people to come on to the show and join us here live to ask questions. But I'm going to try to wait until after Steve Smith has come on the show before we do that. So Taylor, I believe that was, it just came on. Sorry to kick you off. Please don't take it personal. I want you to come back, all right? Just trying to get things right because this is my first time doing a guest with some new software that we're using. So you should be noticing we're in 4K right now, some crystal clear resolution. So hope everybody's enjoying that so far, all right?
I know I am.
You
we looking good, man. We are looking good, my friend.
Some comments on the kicker. Ask Steve Smith if he remembers the celebration. All right. Well, we got a lot of stuff. All right, hold on. He's saying he's trying to get on. Oh,
here we go.
Been trying to get on and it keeps saying connecting. 1 second, guys.
This is the moment of truth right here, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not sure what to say here. Gonna mute my mic here so you guys don't hear me for a second.
Right.
Let's see, Andre, I'll let you entertain for a second here.
Yeah, so as they figure out what is going on here with Steve's end of the situation, I'll go through some more comments here as we take a look at some of the stuff that Tin Tizzy is saying. Of course, one of the regulars, Steve is the GOAT. Definitely one of the top Panthers in Panthers history. Maybe some can argue he is the top Panther to ever play in a Carolina Panthers uniform. So again, to everybody who's leaving some comments down in the comments section below, we do appreciate all the support and all of the comments that are being left right now. Of course, we're about to have Steve Smith on here in a fairly short period of time. Felix Graham, I'm looking at some of the comments here. I'm upset because we should have had a new kicker by now. I don't know if they're going to make that decision as of yet.
All right, Andre, here we go.
All right, we got him?
We got him.
All right.
Says he's in the guest room. All right, things are looking good. Give me 1 second, Mr. Smith. And that should work right there. So there we go. What's going on, sir?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, appreciate you joining me tonight. Let me go ahead and formally introduce. Hey, we got some sound effects that we're going to play with. Hopefully, you don't think they're too corny. Some applause there. Steve Smith is joining us tonight.
Hey,
Myself, along with.
Whoa, 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 whoa! You gonna have to run that back. Who joining you?
I said Steve Smith. Should I use something different? You know what? You know what? I remember when you got that addition onto the jersey. So let me run it back.
Yeah, Steve Smith. Steve Smith out here at his friend's house for Halloween and all that stuff.
We have Steve Smith Sr. joining us tonight on our Ask Me Your Carolina Panthers question tonight. Mr. Senior, how are you doing tonight?
What's going on,
Uh,
Steve?
what's going on? I'm doing good. How you doing, young man?
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
pretty
So
good. Very good.
you're joining me tonight along with my co-host Andre Cassidy, and we're going to go ahead and talk about this Atlanta Falcons game and the Carolina Panthers matchup that took place yesterday. And before we cut to it, I want to make sure that I mention the link is in the description. All right.
Yes, sir.
Steve Smith Sr. does a weekly podcast with with Cooley Mick. I think it's every Monday, right?
No, it runs. I think it runs late Tuesday/Wednesday, but we'll record tomorrow because we got Monday Night Football going on tonight. So you know,
Okay. So it's a weekly show. Link is in the description. Please consider subscribing and checking out Steve Smith Sr. I think you'll find us a lot of good insight that him and Cooley have to offer there. So check that out. Steve, let's go ahead and cut to it. All right. The Carolina Panthers took on the Falcons yesterday in a game that started out kind of slow. I know for me, it was tough because I just drove down the night before and Andre was laughing at me. I was kind of struggling in the press box in that first
Oh, you
half.
sure were.
hey, I I was struggling on my couch outside, man. I record a lot of the games so I can get through the commercials, but also I like to go back and mark little things that should have been there that I want to address and talk about or highlight. So it's been good.
Yeah, and that second half came, man, and it certainly woke me up. And just give you some perspective, that first quarter we had 3 points total that was put up in that game, and the fourth quarter alone we just went on like turbo mode, Tecmo Bowl mode, maybe you might say, and had what was it, about 34 points that we had put in that fourth quarter alone. So really exciting game. Well, let's go ahead and get into what everybody's talking about, and I want to get your take on it, Steve, which is the PJ Walker play in which he launched a rocket down the field. I mean, that thing looked like it went about 70 yards. And he didn't even get set too much before he launched that thing. DJ Moore catches it, has a touchdown celebration, gets a penalty. We all know what happened. But, Steve, if you could just go ahead and share your thoughts on that play with Steve and PJ there at the end of regulation.
Um, I mean, I think it was. I think it was a play that needed to be made. And when you have a play like that needs to be made, you go to your go-to guy, right? And our go-to guy right now, and the foreseeable future is DJ Moore. Um, and I think it was just based off emotions. I really do. I don't think, I think this is, we're in an era and a time, a place where um, reactions are more prevalent than actually like kind of looking at the game in its totality. And I just feel like a lot of people are jumping to conclusions. And when we win, we automatically say the quarterback did it right. We all automatically do that. However, when we lose, and I'm not sure. Inside joke, am I allowed to say we the media, or am I just going to say you?
Hey, you're allowed to say whatever comes to mind, man. You're an
No,
intelligent
no,
guy,
no,
so
no,
I
I
trust.
need to know. I need to know. We gonna have to talk about that too. We are gonna have to address that.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Let's say
um,
we.
yeah, I say we. Yeah, we gonna have to. Yeah, and so I think that we're looking for someone to blame, and I just it's just right now we are so. Hold on, how do I say this the right way? We're so we're such a complaining city right now about our football team,
Okay.
Facts.
right? And we're complaining where we're mad when people show emotion. We're mad when people don't show emotion, right? Y'all ran some folks out of town that showed emotion. Now you want people back in town that show emotion. Um, it's like we're in this relationship that we don't know we're in a relationship with because the goalpost keeps moving, right? Let's tank. Let's not tank. I think the best thing you could do is look at first of all, figure out what is your real expectation of this team, right? Like I hear people talking about, oh man, we're only a game and a half out of first place, and we ain't gonna. We don't really want to go to the playoffs. I'm just being honest.
Okay.
Like what serves us any purpose of going to the playoffs unless we are ready to play sound football on both sides of the field, right? In 4 quarters. Because what we saw going against the Atlanta Falcons, we all know is that type of football gonna allow us to play against the Philadelphia Eagles right now or the Dallas Cowboys? Because
Well,
those are the playoff teams.
right.
And we not gonna play. If we go to playoffs, we're not playing Tampa Bay. We're not playing New Orleans. We're not playing Atlanta, bro. We playing some monsters. And I think our defense is spectacular. I think our offense under PJ Walker right now, currently, is showing. I said it on WFNZ. I'll say it today, and I'll say it tomorrow on my show on Cut To It. I did not know Ben McAdoo was capable of running this kind of offense
Mm-hmm.
because we look at the offense against the Rams. Man, we all thought we were at a dollar movie, right? It was a summertime Tuesday or Thursday, and it was a dollar movie, and they was playing an old movie, and they just trying to get us in the door to buy stale popcorn. That's what I thought.
Hey, Steve, quick question. Isn't it fair to say that we don't know what we have yet in this team and with this new coach?
Well, I
Because
can
you.
tell you what we do have. We don't have no damn kicker. That's for damn sure, right? I can be there. I can tell you that right now. We ain't got no kicker that can kick under pressure.
Well,
Yeah, talk about that.
today, Wilkes said that Eddie P is safe this week. He's not bringing in another
He should
kicker.
be. Let him miss next week though.
Go ahead and talk about your thoughts on him missing that. He missed that field goal. I'm
Man, he
sorry,
missed
I
that.
say
He
field goal.
missed.
It was an extra point that was as
He
far as a
missed
field goal.
he missed that extra point. I was like, watch, people gonna blame DJ.
Yeah,
And what are they doing?
it's
They
it's
blaming him.
mostly been going to DJ.
Right? How about the last 3 minutes of the game? The defense that they let Kyle Pitts wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, just little things like that.
So would you say with the kicker, he's okay for now, but he's on a very short leash?
I mean, this is a head coach, Steve Wilkes, who I respect. I respect a lot of him, but man, I respect the heck out of him. But this is a guy who he's on a job. He's on a job interview that's a living, breathing job interview every single game, and to put all of that on, to put all of that on DJ. Should DJ have done that? No, but to put it all on DJ, come on, man. Like, there's so many things that led up to 34 points. I think, or did it just wake up? Poof, 34 points.
No, it was quite a few things. Quite a few things.
All right, I'm just double checking, man.
Right?
I'm just saying.
Series of events.
Yes, that's what I think. But as the media, sometimes we try to summarize it off one or two plays, and then that's it, as if there weren't 58 other minutes of a football game. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this team was playing so well until this moment.
You were touching on Wilkes there, and I wanted to get into talking about him because he is auditioning for this head coaching job. I know I didn't like when Tepper said he has to do something incredible to maintain the head coaching job. And I will say personally, I'm cheering for him, but I'm gonna be professional
Why
with
do
my
why do you what's wrong with saying that, hey, he has to be incredible?
because I don't think every NFL head coach is incredible. There's a lot between
That's what
incredible.
gets you fired, though, right? If you're not incredible, like this is millions of dollars.
Yeah.
This is technically a $1 billion industry, and so you want a dude that's just gonna make a ham and cheese and a peanut butter and jelly. We call that a 5-star restaurant.
Yeah, but you also don't have all the top shelf items in that kitchen right now, right?
That is
we don't
that is correct. But
so
here's the thing: I also see him doing great things with what he has. That the man before him for the last 3 years, he couldn't even give us a 2-star meal.
right. So it becomes when you say incredible, I guess it becomes really subjective to what all aspects of his coaching do you
I
want
think
to say is incredible?
I think incredible right now is what we're saying. Here's why I think it's incredible, right? I take the word and say incredible. It's incredible to see PJ Walker in two out of 3 games look like a professional football a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible for him to take a 5-step, 7-step, 3-step drop, and he actually doesn't double clutch. He throws the ball. It's incredible to see a young man like PJ Walker who has the ability to scramble, but he keeps his eyes forward and not using his legs as a lazy tactic to get out. It's incredible to see Deontay Foreman, who hadn't played, who didn't even show up, was healthy scratches, sitting on the sideline holding water and drinking and eating orange slices at halftime. And he gets in there and he bullies on a goal line the Atlanta Falcons. And Atlanta Falcons are not a cakewalk. The Atlanta Falcons are 5th in rushing defense stopping them. So, I mean, he's doing incredible. It's incredible to see how Derek Brown is penetrating and staying active and terrorizing offenses in the backfield. So I think the word incredible is great. And Steve Wilkes, at times, I think, in 3 games, has been more incredible than a guy who had, 24, 36 games.
He had a lot. He had a lot. And I know for me, in watching sorry, I got my keys mixed up there and my screenshots. We're gonna have to fix that. Hold on one second. Let me fix this here so that we can all be on the screen.
Hey, Steve, let me ask you this real quick, too. And
Yeah.
I brought this up with Chris a lot yesterday. The word resiliency was something that you really saw in the second half. Like when Carolina was down by a touchdown, when Atlanta kept scoring, and then they were able to come back and really make key plays to keep up with Atlanta. How does that, like with Steve Wilkes, how much of an impact does he have on the team's capability to say, hey, we're going to move on, we're going to keep moving forward, forget about what happened in the last play, but say, hey, we got to keep fighting?
I mean, I just think that I think what I love though is one, I think some reporters have asked, Todd Bowles some questions that regard race. I do believe race does have an undertone with certain things in certain places and certain reasons why. But I think the thing that I love I love about Steve Wilkes, it isn't because he's from Charlotte. It isn't because he worked his tail off to be here in Charlotte. I just think he's a fantastic coach. I've known him when he wanted to be a defensive coordinator and then a head coach, and he's getting his opportunities. And I just feel like there are certain people, which I'll remove race and I'll just add, that has a resume or a geographical location that makes them more desirable than the next. I'll take a small example. A buddy of mine knew somebody. I was overseas in Europe a couple of years ago, and his buddy played basketball at the University of Kentucky. He was on a team, and we went to dinner. Me and my wife went to dinner with him and his wife or his fiance. And I was just asking him, like, how is it? And he literally said, "Man, it's so tough because my cousin who played at a smaller school um, in basketball, man, he couldn't get into some of the bigger European basketball circuits because of the school he went to. The European folks didn't recognize the school, but he, who rode the bench pretty much his whole college career at Kentucky or Louisville, I'm sorry, it was Louisville, Kentucky, or Kentucky. He was on the roster and was just an okay player, but because he went to a big school. And big schools, I believe, play a big role, or, when you go to these premier powerhouses or power five, that people look at that and frown upon it. If you're not from the big schools or the big names, right? There, I get people all the times like, "Oh man, I never knew you went to Utah." What does it matter? My 16-year career happened and gone. What does it matter what college I went to? Because what you're
Right.
really saying is, "Oh, I didn't know you or that type of player could come out of that school." That's what's going on.
Hey, is it a good time to shout out Boston
Oh,
Smith?
oh
Can we do
yeah,
that?
yeah. But man, my boy, the best athlete in the family, dog.
Has he decided on his college future? Right, he has.
Yeah, we just taking all the offers
Okay.
we're taking all the offers as they come, um, and we're just gonna we're gonna sit down as a family, and just kind of really go down and look at what's the best thing for him, right? I've always, despite how I presented myself at times, I've always told him and position my family in. You don't have to run, jump, or shoot a ball to go to college. Pop got that. I'll take care of that. If you have, and what I mean by that is, when I'm saying that is, I would be remorse if, the technology and all that stuff, people can look at how much I made over my career. And man, if I don't have 10 nickels to rub together to send my son to college because I've tricked it off, bro, that's a crying shame, man.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And so allowing my son to play, if he wants to play ball at a school, because they are going to give him, an opportunity to represent their university,
Hmm.
then that's great. If he decides the schools that are offering him and the schools that he's already applied to, that he would prefer to go to some different schools. My man got a 3.4 GPA and 1100 on his SAT.
We'll clap it up for
There
him.
you go.
Let's see if the sound effects work for us.
Right? Because
Hey.
this is about for him, right? What he wants to do, what his path is, and we'll support that in whatever path that he wants. He does photography, loves it, invested in it. He's been at he's been he went to the when we were at Utah. He went and shot the game at USC. In preseason, he was at the game to shoot Fan Fest. So he's really heavily in photography, and I want to support him in that.
Hey, you know what they always ask you in photography, which I think is weird, is Sony, Canon, Nikon. What's he using?
Yeah. I think he has a Sony.
Okay. They're
Um,
All
all
right.
great.
yeah, he had a Nikon, but he got this Sony one. My wife bought it. I got him a laptop that has all the photography editing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I try to. I'm not a huge technology guy. I'm very bad at
I
technology.
don't know, man. That Cut to It podcast looks pretty slick.
It is, but I got a lot. I got a more smarter people helping me. Um, I'm just a pretty face, bro.
Hey, so let's finish up on Steve Wilkes, man. You talked about him.
Yeah.
You said that he was
I
doing
just want. I think I think Steve is doing a great job. If this is the type of football that we'll get from Steve Wilkes, the way the state of the team is, I think we're in good hands right now, and I believe with a full off season, with a full with a full off season training camp, um, all of free agency, draft. Scott Fitter has done a fantastic job of drafting guys too, as well. So if you
He
get a full
has.
season, I think that we're in incredible hands.
You feel like coordinators and GMs should remain intact? I know it's coach's decision, but do you feel like those
Yeah,
guys should remain
I think
intact?
it's all a coach's decision. I think sometimes, it's kind of fickle because different coaches want their guys, but at the end of the day, um, I always I'm suspect on their guys because basically, their guys means, hey, let me make sure that we all singing the same tune when we go to owner report, and that's what I think sometimes when we have our guys.
Okay.
So
Um,
I see some questions up here, man. We can get
that's,
to some of these questions.
all right. Well, I didn't know how much time you had.
Donald Duck asked me about my YouTube series.
Let me see if I can quickly find it, put it on the screen for you.
Yeah,
And
Donald Duck, a regular. He is a regular on
this one
here.
here, can you ask if he
Yeah.
can save his?
Yeah, he's saying he asked me if I'm saying my last one for the Panthers. Baltimore is upset. There's a lot of folks. There's a lot of folks upset, man. Really, with the most interesting the thing I'm doing, man, is I was grinding it out and trying to help create this with my unscripted producer, JJ Jonathan James up at NFL Network, and man, we tried to go outside of our comfort zone and help create a show that's really talking about different things, and giving the fans a look inside of what football is more than just the everyday catching a pass. Men and women who make the NFL go, giving them their flowers. So I like that, and it's been really cool. Unfortunately, no. Um, there's so many teams, man. We really want to go ahead and try to expand and get outside of our comfort zone, right? And try to get out of it. And I say that tongue in cheek because, um, I live in the South now, and I notice with the South, we love we love to stay comfortable. We don't like to be
Yep.
uncomfortable.
Okay. I'm feeling comfortable, man. I feel good.
Yeah.
So far, so far.
So far, at least, right?
Hey, let me get this off of here. And yeah, Steve, if you have any other comments that you see on there, let us know. 'Cause
Yeah.
we do try to make it interactive, but I know our
Somebody
time was
said,
limited.
what was that? Where'd it go? Somebody said, do I think what?
Somebody asked about Shy Smith and your thoughts about him
I,
as a
man,
receiver.
Shy's trying to figure it out. Um, I had talked to some people up there, and Shy wasn't necessarily running crisp routes. And then I asked him one question that kind of solidified that, which was, what kind of offensive routes? Are we running steps or yardage? And someone said they're doing steps, and I said, well, that's his problem. You know, if you haven't been around in an offense where steps are what you were taught, I'm a yardage guy. I didn't do steps because when I tried to run steps, right? So and what do I mean by steps? Like if you run a quick out, a quick out is 6 yards. That's 3.5 steps. I can't do 3.5 steps because then when I'm running, it sounds like I'm counting my steps.
Right.
So that gives a tip off to the DB. So I couldn't do steps. I did yards, and also did it as a field. So if I got jammed up a little bit, bang, I would run. I would run it a little bit short because it would throw off the timing. So there's so many different elements of an offense, and when you get a player from college, you're not sure what he was taught. You're not sure what bad habits he had. And then moving forward, what bad habits does he need to eliminate now in the league that he carried over from high school? For me, if you go back in my career, if you notice, I ran a comeback great. I ran this route, but one route that I really struggled with that as my career went on is I quit running curl routes. I struggle with curl routes because I'm a snatcher. I'm a snatcher. And so when I would run a curl and come back to the quarterback and the ball was coming, I would snatch the ball, but I would actually bat the ball down. So I struggled with curls. And later in my career, when they started asking me, hey, what you want? Remove curls. Because I just struggled with it. And I would literally go up to the line. I got a curl and I had this like anxiety. Like, man, right? Because I struggled. I would do it a lot and I struggled with it. And it was at that point, I'm like, man, I can run 15 routes. You just gonna have to remove the curl. It's just
I never knew that.
At least you were straight up with them about it, though.
yeah. You know, it was interesting. It was like, oh, must have run a curl, and I struggle with it, man. And it sounds so silly, but think about it. You got 53 men, 53 men on a roster. They all have their own things or routines or things that just kind of get under their skin or they just struggle with, right?
Mm-hmm. That was yours.
That was mine.
All right, Steve. So we'll do this because I want to stay true to holding you to 30 minutes. So
I'm good, bro. We could go ahead. My wife and kids are out, so I'm just at the house.
Are they trick or treating right now?
No, we don't celebrate Halloween, so they went out to some friend's house, and they just kind of hanging out. And I gave out a little bit of candy as much as I can, and then I'm just getting ready for football. I'm getting ready for football for Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. So we'll do this. Normally, part of the show is we'll let on Mondays guests come on the show, ask a question. So we'll go ahead and open that up. So if anybody wants to, the link is in the description. Click on that link to join us to come on. Now, let me point out, these are not specific Steve Smith questions that we want tonight. We want football questions for the Carolina Panthers if you do come on tonight.
Well, you can tell them right now, I'm not coaching, right? So you can stop out. I have no desire to coach.
No desires to coach, unless you are one of his children, but obviously you're probably not going to be. So let's talk about the quarterback situation that we have. P.J. Walker today, Steve Wilkes said, will be our starting quarterback versus the Cincinnati Bengals. My quick thought about that when I heard that was, we should just ride with P.J. If things are turning around and P.J. is the one that's been at the helm, if P.J. is showing that he can compete each and every week, and you're having your mark on this team, the Ben McAdoo's getting used to him, let's keep him on there. Taylor, I'm going to let you come in, but I'm not going to pull you on the screen yet. Steve, go ahead and answer this question.
I believe PJ should be the starter. There's a lot of things that he's doing. I think, he actually, if we do the RPO game, he actually gives the ability to threaten the defense with his legs. He made some plays with his legs last week, but it was secondary. So it wasn't like he wasn't like playing like scared or second guessing himself or double hitching. He was throwing the ball well. Did he miss some throws? Yes, everybody missed some throws, but I think the throws, the difference is the throws that he made. The real question is, would he have made those throws? Would those other two guys made those throws in that game at that moment?
Yeah, and I watched that play probably about 5 times, the one to DJ Moore. And, number one, I do like how PJ didn't have a good first half. And then he came back out in that second half and played really, really well. And on that play where he hit DJ on that deep route, as you mentioned, he had the ball like this, and his head was downfield the whole time. He had a guy running some short routes didn't even look at it. He was just waiting for that opportunity for DJ to, I guess, keep running and see those defenders kind of slow down a little bit. And then
Yeah.
he just flung that ball down there. So I really like PJ, especially, and I told him this, so I feel like I can say it here. So much better when he knows that he's going to be the starter and how he plays in the game, I guess, because of preparation. He plays so much better.
I mean, anybody plays better when they know you believe in them, right? I think that's it's, how are you gonna how can you one how do you go out there with confidence if you're believing as soon as I screw up they're gonna yank me, right? When we all have seen there have been games where both of those guys, Baker and Sam, have not played well and they haven't been taken out.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine.
All right, so I'm going to try to not mess up here. Bring my man Taylor on. Taylor, how's it going? If you could, go ahead and state your question for us, sir.
Hey, big fan of you, Steve Smith. I was wondering, this might not be my place to ask this type of question, but
Don't scare me, Taylor.
um,
Come on now. You've been good in the past.
I'm sorry. I'm just curious. Do you think? Because I'm a big fan of Cam Newton, and he got me into football. But looking at the
Okay.
Panthers compared to other teams, I was always. Do you think the Panthers have changed the way in a positive way of how NFL looks at black quarterbacks? It's like anytime we do get a black quarterback, it like good things happen. I'm not saying white quarterback shouldn't be starting for the Panthers. I'm just saying we feel like Panthers have changed the culture of how black quarterbacks are seen, and is that how does the NFL kind of see that kind of stuff like in a
So,
positive light?
so let me ask you this, and don't take this as disrespect. So I'm cool with Cam. I don't have a problem with it, right? There was several black quarterbacks before Cam Newton was drafted, right? You
Yes,
know
sir.
there, there was one that actually won a Super Bowl.
You're right, Doug Williams and
Yeah,
Russell Wilson.
yeah. So my point is, I think sometimes fans are so looking for their guy to be the guy that they for whatever reason want to almost make it as if like, well, if it wasn't for Steve, like I use myself as an example and not Cam, I think they were quarterbacks. I mean, I think they were wide receivers who played at a high level at wide receiver that wore 88, 81. My point is, I'm just saying Cam could play football at a high level, but we really have to ask ourselves right now. And Cam has said it. Um, Somebody said you don't have a problem with Cam. Stop lying. Uh, I always keep it. I always keep it 100. If I had a problem with a man, um, unlike y'all, I don't do the internet. I go straight to the source. So I don't have a problem with him. I actually, I've spoken to Cam several times in my, since I've left. Actually, nobody knows this. I had a letter that Cam wrote to me that I waited till I was retired to read it. And then when I read it, I texted him and said, "Man, I read your letter and I appreciate it." So I'm a straight up. I keep it 100. My thing is we are looking. We are as a football team, football community. We're really quick to put people down. We're really quick to say why guys should or shouldn't play. At the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is Cam Newton, just like Steve Smith, prime has his time in the NFL, just like mine, has went by. And this isn't by my me, as fans think I dislike him. It's just looking at football. The last time Cam Newton was in a uniform, one, and if you go on my podcast, I said it. Matt Rule kind of threw him. Uh, Matt Rule threw him under the bus. Had him playing 2 minutes where he didn't fully know the whole playbook, and I thought that was bad on Matt Rule.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. Now people can say I'm lying, whatever you want. Listen, man, you asked me for my opinion, just like I said on my social media. If you don't like my opinion, stop subscribing, stop listening to it.
You have other choices.
Every time you click and view, we appreciate it.
Hey, KP, I'm going to get you on here in just a second for your question, but I wanted to throw in another one here to Steve about the wide receiver group. Terrace Marshall Jr. was a guy, I distinctly remember Matt Rule saying, "Oh, he's had a good week of practice. He's coming along. He's had a good week of practice. He's coming," but he wouldn't even be active for the game.
Yeah.
PJ becoming quarterback, and I'm sure many things changed, and Ben McAdoo maybe changes some things, but we certainly see, thankfully, a resurgence of DJ Moore where he's getting a lot of targets and they're catchable balls, and he's making a difference with those. Terrace Marshall Jr. seems to be trending up. What do you think of Terrace lately, and maybe where he can be in helping the team out this season?
Man, he had that catch that didn't count in the end zone. It was a great catch. I think he was 4 for 89. He played well. Broke away. He did some really good things that I really was surprised. I know he had some health issues when we drafted him. He wasn't 100%. And they were trying to work to get him from a college body to an NFL body. But I think what we're seeing right now, we're seeing a little bit of what we saw out of him in college. So I like it. I like what we saw. I think it's interesting. We signed Rashad Higgins, and he doesn't even play. We put him on the reverse. So I'm just trying to figure out, which direction is this going, right? When it was going. So I love the fact that the guys who weren't making plays or wasn't given opportunities, all of a sudden, man, they're making plays.
Yeah. All right, let's see if we can bring this guy on here, right here. Let's see if I can hit the right button. I did. Go ahead. State your question and your name, sir.
What's going on?
How you doing, Chris? How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Appreciate Steve for coming on and being able to talk with the fan base this evening. So my question to you is, obviously the Panthers had one of the worst offenses in the NFL in the first few weeks of the season. So I want to ask you a question. Is that more on the quarterback situation, or is that more on McAdoo? And how has this offense turned it around in the past couple of weeks?
Man, I was saying the same thing. Right? It just I literally wrote my notes. I said, where has this offense been?
Yeah.
Right. I think it's awesome, but I do. This isn't about what the other guys weren't able to do. I think it really kind of says when you have offensive line that's clicking, they're doing good, they're improving, they're getting better, giving the quarterback time, and the quarterback is down there. He's sitting there keeping his eyes downfield, going through his progressions. It's been good. I mean, look at Tommy Tremble's being used. Stephon Sullivan is being used, right? We're talking about players that we didn't even know had the ability to make plays that have been making plays.
We can't get a quarterback credit?
No. These receivers aren't running, throwing the ball to themselves. I'm saying, I'm trying not to go, Sam and Baker have been. I'm just saying that DJ has been doing really good.
Well, what I have shared is that I know at times people have been like, why can't we see Rashard Higgins? Him and Baker had this thing. That's why he's here. Let's see Rashard, or let's see this guy. Let's see that guy. And my feeling has been, it doesn't matter what wide receiver you have out there if the guy that's throwing them the ball isn't really capable of getting him the ball. So stop telling me about wide receivers that we need in those changes.
Or getting passes batted down.
Yeah, we need to be able to get the ball to those guys. That's where it starts. Because, DJ Moore, he's been a great guy. He would have a lot of targets, but he might only have, 20% catches from those targets. And he just wasn't being given an opportunity for the wide receivers to succeed.
And if he was the ball on point?
No, I mean, there's so many plays where you see DJ just contorting himself all over the place trying to get to a ball that's really not a catchable ball, and yeah, not being given a chance. So I'm happy that the Panthers as a whole, are finding ways to get things going. I felt like when Christian McCaffrey left at that point, that not knowing how much of that was Steve Wilkes or how much of that was Ben McAdoo, that maybe this would be a trigger for those guys to go ahead and just be more creative and just try to use all the pieces to the puzzle to get some success on this team. And I don't know exactly why, but I like where we are now with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, where are we at on time? 7:50. Andre, I don't think I've given you the floor many times. You got anything that you want to talk about in closing before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think Steve, for one, first of all, it's great to have you on, and it's just great to be in your presence today. Let me just ask you this: with DJ Moore, with how he played yesterday, and a lot of conversation about what took place afterwards, and him showing emotion. I was having this debate with Chris yesterday in our post-game show about should he have showed the emotion in that time frame, in that scenario, though. For a guy who rarely shows emotion,
No.
during the game, he's
Bro,
usually pretty low key.
I said the same thing to
Yeah,
him
it's like,
too. I said the same. I said the
yeah,
same thing to DJ today, probably about a few hours ago. I said, "Bro, what was that?" He was like, "Man, just emotions." Here's what I would tell you that I don't think people realize, right? When a football NFL football player is playing, man, we really don't look at, all right, it's 3rd and 20. I got to get 20 yards. Man, we really just run the route that's called. So if they say, hey, if they're saying, look, I just throw out a play. They say, look, we got I right 17, deep end, zipper, halfback, halfback swing, right? Deep end means I got an 18-yard route. If I get held up or they try to jam me at the line, man, I free release inside, and the time clock in there. If I free release inside and I get in clean, most likely I can get my full 18 yards. If I get held up a little bit, I'm gonna run at 16 because I know that my clock is going off. When I go off on my clock, when you jump up when you jump up in real life, you don't go, hey, I wonder if I'm 17 and a half yards or I'm 19 yards. No, you jump up trying to catch the ball. You don't come down and say, hey, I wonder, am I 2.3 inches or 2.218 yard away from the first down? Man, you're just reacting. As a football player, there are times you play from the shoulders down, not from the shoulders up. You're not gonna remember, hey, I'm supposed to do this or I'm supposed to do that. You are just going to play and react in a way that sometimes, as fans sitting in the seat from popcorn, from the highest, the best view in the stadium, you see the guys coming behind to poke the football out. You don't, because you're running. You're like, all right, don't get caught. Let me do this. Let me do that. And so sometimes when you say, what was he thinking? He wasn't thinking. He was actually reacting. And so my point is, when DJ threw his helmet off, and this is my opinion, what was he saying? DJ was mouthing blankety blank, right?
hmm
But he was saying, in my opinion, didn't ask him, in my opinion, and these dudes have been through a lot. And how many times they, either by the opposite fan base, the game, or just everything that's going on, how many times they walk on that field and they felt like they either can't win, haven't won, won't somebody doesn't believe in them, or they've been there, or they are a three-legged animal in a four-legged race, and has a huge disadvantage. And so my point is, when he said his natural response, man, his natural response was like, man, we are not quitting. We are not going to sit here and lie dead and make it seem like we're just going to quit so people can feel better about tanking and getting a better draft pick. Because I'm going to tell you, I don't think being in the top 10 is a good draft. I think I think making it to where we could be 15 or 16 is a better draft pick, because look how long it's taken Derek Brown to become the impact player he is. It's taken him, what, 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
Yep.
Right? And sometimes those other guys, some other guys, man, you put them like Thomas Davis. Thomas Davis is one of the best linebackers in history, in our history of the Carolina Panthers. And he was drafted as a safety, put on weight, learned the game, and was an unbelievable linebacker. There are very few Cam Newtons that come off the train balling. There are very few CMCs that literally come off the Stanford train balling. There are very few Luke Kuechly's that are drafted from Boston College balling. My point is, for every Cam Newton, CMC, and Luke Kuechly, man, there's a Thomas Davis, there's a Steve Smith, right? There's the Brad Hoovers. We forgot about Brad now, right? Even for a little bit, Josh Norman, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
so many. Ricky Manning Jr., right? I can go on and on and on of why sometimes the top draft picks, and look at PJ, the top draft picks aren't always going to give you that instant meal that we all have now come accustomed to.
Okay.
So that's what I think. And my point is, what I think DJ did was just out of reaction of just all the pressure of what's happening. That dude just said, you know what, man, bump this, dog. Like I think he literally, I think he thought, man, we got to walk off.
Hey, I think you're spot on, and I also feel like we just got rid of a guy, Robbie Anderson, that was much more vocal, and the whole time that things aren't going good, going way to the left, looking terrible. DJ Moore is not saying anything. He's just giving you the same little smile, dressed up, and saying peace in the locker room. But obviously, nobody makes it to this level, and they're not competitive and want to win. I mean, it just burns at them. He's been super quiet all this time that we've had the Matt Rule era, and now even in this game, just a few plays before then, he had didn't catch a pass.
Yeah.
And now you come back and you do this, you catch the pass, you catch a game tying touchdown, and yeah, like you said, all the things that have been happening, it was a moment. I think it just boom.
Look, people have asked me what I think about the Robbie thing, man. Right? I understand Robbie's frustration, but I also don't think how he, I'll get in a player's face, but man, when you get in a coach's face twice like he did, when I was like, oh, he got frustrated. But then when I saw he got in a receiver's face, he was in a receiver's face like they was about to chunk him. Right? And I was like, me, when I had Ricky Pro was my wide receivers coach, man, me and Ricky got into it one time. Like we was on the sideline. I ran a route a way that he didn't want me to. We talked about it. He was like, man, you got to stay disciplined. And he said, are you listening to me? I said, no, not really right now. No. And then he goes, and then he raised his voice. He was like, see, you're not listening to me. And, me and Ricky are tight. Till this day, me and Ricky still talk. And then Ricky goes, he said something, and it kind of got under my skin. And I looked at Ricky, And I said, I respect you way too much. So I'm going to walk away from you right now. Right? And Ricky said, that's good because I don't want to put hands on you either. And he walked away. Man, so my point is, right, in the heat of the battle, man, people say stuff. And people get upset, right? Somebody said something right there, and they said Jeff Davison. Man, me and Jeff Davison got into it a few times. But I never walked up to Jeff Davison and made him feel like I was going to swing on him, right? And there is a level of respect between players and coaches, right? There's a lot of bomb words that are being said, words, and I've said it and coaches said it to me. But to get in it, for a player to get in a coach's face like that, man, it's tough. I didn't got in players' face, but I've never sat and squared up with my coach because I do know when you do that, man, it's a tough deal, dog. That ain't
sure is.
That's and listen, man, and you on TV, man. That coach cannot allow you to be in the room anymore because the other players are gonna start to think that I could talk to them that way.
Yeah.
Right, and it sets a bad precedent. People can say whatever they want about me, and yes, I have my things, but I can tell you one thing that every coach said to me, which is, I didn't like the way Steve acted, but I never squared up on a guy, right? A coach. Now I squared up on players, and you can say whatever you want. I punched a teammate. I punched two. Hey, there was some things that happened. I got. There's some feathers that got ruffled, and I did some things that to this day I regret, and I don't shy away from it. People try to put me in that box and remind me of my past, and I appreciate you reminding me of my past. But while you remind me of my past, that what happened for 2 incidents in 6, also remind yourself of my 16-year career too. So don't shortchange me. Be completely well-rounded. Don't remove 2 pieces of the pie. Give me that extra large pizza and put all the good pieces on that pizza. Don't just remove 2 and say it's a full extra large. No, give me my whole extra large. I want the good in the bad. You know what I'm saying?
Let me go off script before I give Andre the last one and then let you guys go. Randomly, it just came up to mind when you were talking about that, Steve. The Draymond Green situation, which is probably now about 3 weeks old, man. Did you ever – what do you think about that?
I don't think nothing about it because I can tell you this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that go on in locker rooms that don't ever get talked about. And when somebody punches somebody, when you're the guy that punches them, man, people don't really care what transpired or why. Just like people are talking about DJ. Man, you just got to be smarter than that. Right? Everybody got an opinion about everybody else's business. But if they carried around a camera and watched you and how you did stuff, I think some of y'all lose y'all damn jobs. Right?
That's why, I try to be the boss so I can try to control that a little bit. Just a little bit.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like
100%.
Bro, when I'm on TV or I'm doing something, just like on here, everybody, oh, Steve forgot when he punched 2 teammates. No, I ain't forget. You just want to remind me because that's your way of bumping me down.
Of thinking that they could bump you down.
Hey, you can bump me down, man. When I get off this call, when I get out of this, hey, bro, I'm gonna go ahead and do what I do with your little comment on here, that little play or not, and you can feel good and screenshot your comment and say, look, this is what I told Steve. You cool? Go ahead. State the facts. But don't go ahead and shortchange all the facts, homie. State my whole, because we're gonna have to be on here at least 3 more hours for them to
right. Show the whole picture.
All get the complete picture.
Crystal clear 4K picture. So
yes, 4K. Actually,
4K.
Yes, I need that 4K. I need all those pixels.
Every last one of them, right? So
and don't
November
put them on
1st.
the TV you got. I want it on this 70-inch in my office.
Hey, we got you. We are in 4K right now, Steve.
Using all them pixels. So November 1st coming up. trade deadline is going to be approaching. Do you see
Yeah,
Carolina making any moves before
man,
the deadline pops up?
I don't think so. I think it's bad. First of all, we don't need to use any more equity um, to acquire players. For what? I think this is a great opportunity for us to see what we have right now. Right? We
Yeah.
need we need we need to see what we have. We got some players that we need to figure out. C.J. Henderson. We're still waiting for him to show up.
Yeah.
He's. I mean, what was that? That last play, that Bird caught that pass and he skated over my man. CJ was like he was strolling in the park, right? Bird looked like he was in New York running away from a robber, and CJ over there. They like, hey, stop him. He's like, who? Oh, him?
I feel like a lot of our guys on defense, even Shaq Thompson, and though he led us in tackles, I still feel like there were some points where it was just a step missing or something from the way that he was playing on defense.
They didn't play their best game, but I think offense showed up and finally for once, right? Kind of showed the defense that they can have an off day and we still got their back. I think that was extremely important. Somebody goes, how did CJ get a 9.1 PFF grade? Man, listen, you could pull that PFF grade all you want. I'm talking about when it count. I'm talking about in the game when he was jogging on the touchdown. That's what I'm talking about. I don't care about no PFF grade.
Don't care about the analytics.
Man, analytics is good. You still got that L. So what's the analytics doing?
Exactly.
Hey, that's why Donald Trump is hiding them taxes right now. But them taxes will tell on you. I know. I just filed my 1,400 pages of my taxes.
Hey, well, baby, if I tell them that I know you, I get a discount when I file mine, right?
You get a tax write-off.
You'll get some bills.
Hey, I want to thank you sincerely for coming on the show, Steve. I hope it's something that we can make an annual tradition. And certainly, should you feel just gracious to bless us sporadically, please let me know, man. Love to have you on. It was great to finally make this moment happen.
You're the man.
I'm not blessing y'all, bro. I appreciate talking ball, right? And then there's other people. I'll say this, man. For a long time, I really, when I left here, when I got out of here, and when people say, "Oh, he left us," man, it's a business. I did, right? That's part of the business. I left for a lot of reasons. For some people, you never gonna hear the full story. Because at the end of the day, the new folks around here, they love to expose. They love to snitch. I don't dry snitch. I'll give you a little bit just to let you know that it was mutual on the reasons why. I've always been a very inquisitive young man. I've always been inquisitive about the game, about a lot of different things. So for me, I was never going to just be literally on one team because I always desired to see this is a $1 million industry. Billions for the owners, $1 million for the players. And I wanted to see, because of what I really understand, I'm an independent contractor that can only go to 32 cities. And so I wanted to see an opportunity to go to a different city and experience. Was Carolina the best, or what did the NFL have to offer overall, right? I was never going to just stay, even if I played 20 years, I was going to get 1 or 2 years on another team because that's just me. I'm intrigued with everything. So I left, but I came back, right? And my family's always lived here. I've always lived here. I'll stay living here, and I'll say it, and I'll be buried here. This is my home, right? My kids are here. My home is here. I don't have a residence in California. My house where I live is here in Charlotte. And so, I'll always be through and through. But when I went to Baltimore, it was 3 years of football where they taught me some things that I didn't necessarily experience here in Carolina. And I took what I learned in Baltimore and loved it, and I brought it here. And me bringing it here is exactly why I do my podcast. We always do a segment on the Panthers. Why I do the preseason, because I want to still consider myself being attached to the Carolina Panthers. And the other part where everybody thinks Mr. Tepper is a flaky owner. Mr. Tepper has his things that he's a little bit, he's a little bit fickle on. But at the end of the day, I talk to him a lot, and that man wants to create a culture because he used to be minority owner with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He wants to create a culture where there are generations of the fan base. And I've been here since 2001, and I remember when there were certain teams where there were more of those teams, the opposing teams than us, right? And so my point is, and I know it's tough, and people want to get mad. That's part of football. But I'm telling you, when the Carolina Panthers play the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers ain't great, watch how many Pittsburgh Steelers fans be at Bank of America. Generations of fans. So make sure y'all remember that, because in the lean years, it's tough. But when we got those good years, man, you better be careful, because that bandwagon may be filled up and kicking folks off.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so my point is, man, just keep rolling with us, man. I know it's tough. I get it. But just keep rolling with us, because these guys need a lot of support when it's tough. Them guys, it's tough to get up and go to games as fans, and it's also tougher to get up and go to the game as a player when you feel like folks ain't rooting for you. So that's all I would say, man. And I get it. I understand people. People don't want to see losing teams. I get it. Right? But those boys ain't waking up going, hey, I'm going to trick this game off today. Yeah.
Well, Steve, again, it's great to have you on.
Yeah.
Missed those moments in the locker room. There were some good times, and I always love it when I see you around town. A really good guy to come across, no matter what you might see out there in the media and people trying to throw my guy under the bus.
Hey, that's fine. Hey, that's fine. It must be an expensive bus then.
But he a good dude, though, as always.
Tell the family
One of the real ones.
I said hello, and look forward to seeing you when I do see you again, sir. Thank you so much once again.
Oh, I appreciate it, man.
All right.
Appreciate you, Steve.
All right.
All righty. So he is gone. Panther Pickle, I'm going to have to decline because we're about to get off of here. Let me go back to this shot here.
Mm-hmm.
We did it.
Wow. We did it, man. That was an experience right there.
Let me, before we wrap this up, because I got to get to the babies in the household. My wife has been extraordinary holding it down while I was in Atlanta this weekend, while I'm doing this this YouTube show today. So I'm going to shout out to Mrs. TJ for being such an extraordinary wife while I run this. Let's give these super chats before we get out of here, okay? We got Germany Vets. Sometimes I want to read it to make sure I'm not about to say something that
right.
I'm not cool or don't know about. But Germany Vets, appreciate the super chat very much. Hey, we are an independent media, okay? So let me go ahead and say this now that Steve just got off the show. Not that I wouldn't say it because he was on here, but I just forgot to say it. This is why I ask you to subscribe to the channel, all right? It helps a lot for players and former players to come on the show when we have a good audience for people to come on. And, my audience is great. You guys do a good job of not being too to the left. There will obviously be some that come in there, but I really, I'm speaking for Andre as well. We appreciate all of you all that take the time to sign on. help us get to 6,000 subscribers, all right? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. A lot of good information from that interview right there with Steve. I feel like I spend the next week just chopping up stuff and putting independent videos out there and stuff, but I'm not going to do that. But anyway, super chats, we need them. We'll appreciate it. Whenever you can do so, please do it. And if you can't, just go ahead and hit the like button. All right, so
Yeah, there
Steven
were a
with a
couple
super
in
chat.
there. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on PJ Wilkes' future of the team? Steven, even though, again, unfortunately, I do apologize, I wasn't able to get to that super chat while Steve was on here. He actually addressed those very things, so hopefully you'll appreciate that. Tin Tizzy,
Oh, what did he say? I know he's been saying a couple things in the comments section.
Has anyone brought up a Steve Smith statue at Bank of America? Well,
Oh man.
you know, they're probably going to leave that for who it is, Sam Mills, with the legacy and impact that he had on the team in such a profound way. Steve, though, is in I think they call it Ring of Honor at Bank of
Yep.
America Stadium, right? So he was on that first group. And I don't even know if have they added anyone to that since they started? Maybe one person?
I think it's 4 players. So it was Steve Smith, Jake Delhomme, Wesley Walls, and yeah, Steve Smith. So that's the 4 that are in there right now. I think they added them 2 seasons ago, if my memory serves correct.
But they've only done it one time, right? One iteration.
Yeah, just
I don't
one
think
time.
they've added anybody else since then.
Yeah. So it's still the 4 players
Yeah.
on
Okay.
there right
So
now.
there you go there. Appreciate the super chat. Oh man, here my man, God of Blackness. Where have you been? I don't know, Andre, if you had a chance, but God of Blackness, long time supporter, and greatly appreciate it from him to sign on here.
Oh, we just got another one too.
All right, we're
You
gonna
see it pop up?
I-
Yeah.
I see. Let's see. God of Blackness says, "Sweet Caroline, bless you, Steve. Ice up for life. Keep pounding on tap." So God of Blackness always wanted me to say on tap. I don't know if he got busy with life, which I certainly understand can happen. And I was wondering how you feel about Tepper lately here, God of Blackness. But he said on tap, so I guess you're still on board. Hey, tremendous appreciation. Again, thank you so much. We need those donations because it's
Absolutely.
if you're watching this on your phone, you may not notice, but this is a 4K broadcast, which I really don't think you're going to see anybody doing. And it's a lot of things a lot of costs into what we do. And we're doing it professionally, right? So we're independent because it allows us to do what you like us to do. It allows me to be man of the people. So we need your support so we can continue to do so. But really appreciate it, God of Blackness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then he hit us up with another one.
Yeah, it was a
He gave us 2, so appreciate it.
yeah.
And then the lady that I miss, Lauren Ruiz,
That we both know.
that we both know.
Yes.
Lauren, let's see, if you're still watching, Lauren, are you able to click that link in the description and come on for
Yeah,
2
hop
minutes?
on. Yeah.
If you're
If
not
you're
able
still
to,
there.
that's fine because I really am well over my time to be doing this video. Then make sure that you jump on in the future. But Lauren, with the super chat of $4.99, so much appreciation
Appreciate the love,
for
Lord.
Lauren in so many ways, and she knows all the hidden messages that I'm saying with that. So really, really, really appreciate it. Mr. Cassidy,
Yes, sir.
closing remarks.
I will just say that was a phenomenal show today. That was an experience. So happy to see Steve Smith taking the time out of his day to spend some time with all of you out there and the 2 of us. So that was really awesome for him to do that. And let me just say, for me personally, that was definitely a really cool moment for me to be able to share the stage with him here on tonight's live stream here.
Yeah, and some people said share the video. So again, you don't have to do anything monetary. It's always greatly appreciated. But if you want to share the video, retweet the video, hit like any kind of way that you can do something, it helps. I appreciate it. Hit the like, but we only got 76 likes right now. I really don't know what's up with that. That's just strange. But
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and end it before we talk for the rest of the night. You can continue to subscribe to the channel. We will continue to bring you updates about this Carolina Panthers team. We're going to continue to try to have players and other guest media on the show as well. So for Andre Cassidy, I'm Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody have a wonderful evening.